Hi, my name's Matt Dubuque. I'm introducing my film 100 Trees here in a beautiful redwood forest in Northern California. Glad you could join me. This is a film called 100 Trees. It's called 100 Trees because I'm going to plant 100 trees. The film will be ready August this year, and I hope to have it on PBS, Sundance Channel. That's my target market. It's a non-profit undertaking. And the film is basically structured like a tree with a series of concentric rings. Each concentric tree ring is a little closer in geography, a little closer in time than the others. And it starts off in the distant past, in a distant place, 14th century Oxford in England. And back then, they were building a new college in Oxford University. They built a magnificent dining hall, and this dining hall had oak beams across the top that were 2 feet by 2 feet and 45 feet long. And 500 years later, around 1860, they discovered that these oak beams across the top of this magnificent dining hall were full of beetles, and the building was going to collapse if they didn't fix it rather soon. And so the word was sent out, and you know, the Oxford University has a lot of lands throughout England, and the word went out to the college forester, and college forester came back and said, hey, you know, we have replacement trees for that. We were wondering when you'd be asking us this. Back when the college was founded in 1368, at that time we planted a set of oak trees to replace the oak trees that are used for the beams because they always become beetly, and so we'll just use those. Now that's an example where tree plantings, large tree plantings in the 14th century benefit Oxford University students today, and that's kind of like the first ring. I'll be covering that, have some footage from it. Then the second ring is the Tokugawa era in Japan. Now that sounds kind of highfalutin and fancy, but that's from 1603 to 1868 in Japan. Back in the 1500s, Japanese were fighting over firewood scraps, basically. Most of the island had been stripped of its trees, and the Tokugawa era instituted a top-down approach to reforesting Japanese archipelago. So systematically, for 200 years, they planted trees. It's now the most heavily forested industrialized nation in the world, and is also the most densely populated. And it's actually a very beautiful country, in large part due to the trees. The Japanese, tens of millions of Japanese can thank the Tokugawa era, the foresight of the people in the 1700s. Well, that's still kind of distant in the past, so let's get a little more recent, a little more local. Well, we have the United States. Yay, our home country. Now that's Johnny Appleseed, who inspired me as a child. And in the 1800s, in the 19th century, he went all around the East Coast. He was an actual figure. He wasn't a myth. He was legendary, but he wasn't a myth. And he planted maple trees and walnut trees all around the eastern seaboard, and then apple trees as well throughout the Midwest. There's only one apple tree remaining that Johnny Appleseed planted, and we'll be covering that topic in the film, and I would hope that we might be able to plant a few trees near that one tree remaining of his to carry on that beautiful American tradition. Well, actually, it's a global tradition, but it's a beautiful thing, Johnny Appleseed. Well, let's get a little more recent, a little more here and now. We have San Francisco. Now, this is real close to where I am. And we have 1870. John McLaren, one of the pioneers that really helped get Golden Gate Park rolling. Now, every weekend, thousands and thousands of San Franciscans enjoy Golden Gate Park. Well, back in the 1870s, 1880s, it was a bunch of sand dunes. John McLaren was a principal leader in the effort to plant 60,000 trees. That's a lot of trees, very dense, and San Franciscans, millions of them, benefit. I don't know the totals, but it's thousands each week, directly because of that massive tree planting effort over 100 years ago, almost 150 years. Coming a little closer in time and location, Selby Lane School, 30 or 40 years ago. When I was in 5th grade, I helped plant a grove of redwood trees around an amphitheater. And that today is a beautiful redwood stand, and now when Selby Lane students go to the amphitheater, they can enjoy what I did decades ago. And we'll also be planting redwood trees or some type of tree at a local elementary school, and they're going to have the benefit 30 or 40 years from now returning to where they were children planting trees, and that's going to be a beautiful thing as well. So once again, it's composed like a series of tree rings from 14th century England, very far away, very long ago, to Tokugawa, Japan, a little closer in time and geography, to Johnny Appleseed, to Golden Gate Park, to Selby Lane School, to the here and now, planting 100 trees for me and some elementary students as well, planting trees. If you know of any places in Northern California where I could plant 20 or 30 trees, I'd appreciate hearing about it. I hope you enjoy the film, and planting trees can be a very beautiful thing in quite a few different ways. Thanks a lot.